Imagine, it's December 8th, 2016. You're on your dashboard when you come across a video. As you pause your music and press play, Johnny Met June by Shelby Lynn plays. It reminds you of a gum commercial you saw previously, where these two people fall in love over gum wrappers of all things. You watch the main character as he writes "I am bored" on a library desk, and he gets a reply. You can sense a romance forming between the two, when eventually he asks who the other person on the desk is. When it cuts to a scene showing a sign on the library door stating it's closed for the summer, you can feel his disappointment. Saddened he didn't get to know who the other person was. When it cuts to a scene showing people receiving their yearbooks, you watch as the character you now know as Evan sign his name in one. You notice a girl read her friend's yearbook that Evan just signed and says, "Hey, you must be bored." Evan turns around and the two start talking. As you watch the two, you notice in the background a young man walking to the gym with a duffel bag. As he sets the bag down, you can see the shadow of a gun as you hear him cock it. The music gets drowned out by the sound of students screaming as suddenly it cuts to black. Text appears on the screen. It says that while you were watching Evan, you missed the signs that another student was planning a school shooting. The music becomes distorted, becoming eerie and in a sense mocking the first minute and 40 seconds of the video. You are played back scenes previously shown with a spotlight on the shooter. Going back through the video, you can see that the only scene where all three characters appear is in the gym, where worlds collide. The video effectively gets its point across. When you know the signs, you can stop a school shooting. It's shocking. It hooks you in to where you have to finish it. When released, it caused people to talk. I personally watched as it went across my dash and was rattled to the core when the tone changed, as were many others. Evan is a perfect video showing the seriousness of school shootings as well as how sudden they can seem to occur. But there's a problem. In 2018 and 2019, the Sandy Hook Promise released two other videos about school shootings. One showing the events leading to a school shooting in a first-person point of view, as well as one which is similar to many back-to-school commercials playing at the time, which eventually morphed into the morbid and very real threat of a school shooter on campus. But why is this a problem? Simply, they take away from Evan. The additional videos desensitize the viewer from the message of the video. How is this possible? Well, it's a recorded fact that when people view violent content, they become more desensitized to violence. Comfortably numb, desensitizing effects of violent media on helping others was two studies done which proved that when a person viewed violent media content, they were slower to react to people injured than those who viewed non-violent media content. Another example is shown as Kate Morgan's The Psychological Explanation for Why We Become Desensitized to Mass Shootings. After hearing of the Sandy Hook shootings, she threw up in her kitchen sink. But after hearing of the Parkland shooting, she skimmed the news alert and then went out to dinner. Since 1999, there have been 7 school shootings where 10 plus people have died. While writing up that list, I had only heard of 4 of those, not to mention the many others with less people dead. The latest of those was in Santa Fe, Texas, on May 18th, 2018, about 3 months after Parkland. I don't recall ever hearing anything about it. Even with shootings with media coverage, I find myself not feeling as strongly as I did when I first heard about Sandy Hook or even Columbine when I first learned of it during high school. I remember going to my aunt's on December 14th, 2012. I remember her being upset and saying how she wished she didn't have to send her kids to school. When Parkland happened, although I wasn't at my aunt's, I don't remember any similar feelings. In fact, the only time of late I remember actually feeling scared was when a school in my hometown was threatened, which I didn't even find out until a little while after the threat was over. In a YouTube video by CBS where they showed Evan, the comments are a vast range, going from people making jokes about school shootings to people remembering how they felt when they first saw the video, to people saying bad guys will find a way to harm people, to conspiracy theorists saying Sandy Hook was faked, to people criticizing the video because it was about a high school instead of elementary school. Not to mention, school shootings have been used as clapbacks to Americans by people of other nations, as well as jokes by Americans, blurring the line between using it as a coping mechanism and just making dark jokes. In a more perfect world, everyone would be a perfect video to show how to prevent school shootings and their severity. But in a world where shootings are seen more as cannon fodder in the growing war between people, its impact is low at best and non-existent at worst. While Sandy Hook's release of 2 other videos may have not directly impacted Evans' effectiveness, the release of more videos has added to the already desensitized American public.